The gentleman on the right-hand side of the screen is the one and only Ben Domenech, who joins me now. Ben, Biden's policies on the border and education, I think they've been a disaster. But will he ever be held accountable?
Well, first off, Stuart, I think that a point that is key to what you just said there in your open is that Joe Biden is approaching this next campaign the same way that he approached the last one, which is that he is dodging interviews, questions, any kind of accountability on his own responses, his own policies as it relates to anything that matters to Americans. And that's something that I think is absolutely unacceptable. Last time around, he used the excuse of COVID to campaign from his basement. This time around, we deserve to have the kind of answers on all these different policy decisions that he as commander-in-chief deserves to deliver to us. We need to hear it from him, not from Karine Jean-Pierre, not from his the people who are spitting for him, not from his surrogates. We want to hear it from the president himself. And when it comes to the border, when it comes to education, I'm not sure that he's ever going to be in a position where he has to answer for the policies that he has used and deployed in terms of his approach. Unfortunately, that's something that we are going to continue to see the Democratic Party try to avoid. They're going to try to make this election about something completely different, namely Donald Trump and the threat of, as they say it, threats to democracy and the like. But I think that, what we can see, at least on Capitol Hill, in the form of these hearings, is some kind of ramification that Democrats do need to, address in terms of responding to the reality of the ramifications of their policies.
Next one. President Biden went after MAGA extremists while speaking to a union crowd yesterday. Watch this, please. Roll it.
The Speaker, the former president, and the MAGA extremists are cut from a different cloth. They treat these folks and they think they're a threat. They think that somehow we're going to go back. The threat that MAGA Republicans pose is to take us to a place we've never been and where the last guy tried to take us.
He said that these Republicans, they're cut from a different cloth. He's looking out over a union crowd and saying, oh, those Republicans, from a different cloth. Ben, that is class warfare.
Stuart, I love the way that he does that high-level voice, then he does that whisper, to deliver how serious he is. Look, it's absolutely ridiculous to hear this from Joe Biden at this point. He is in charge of a coalition that is essentially an elite coalition, an increasingly wealthy coalition, one that is designed to LARP, to pretend to be, in touch with the kind of workers across the country, the very diverse coalition that has been moving very steadily into the Republican camp. And I think that what we're going to see in this next election is going to be a real test for him. This is a coalition that he's put together by fear-mongering, by delving into these kinds of issues that don't actually reflect reality, scaring people into the idea that their democracy is at risk on every hour, when instead, I think what people actually see, particularly from this Republican House majority, is something that essentially is, this is normal Republicanism. This is fiscal conservatism. It's responsibility. It's taking things seriously. And I think that that's the kind of thing that Republicans want to run on in this next election.
Did you see the Washington Post? They're saying that Democrats are reluctantly standing behind Biden because they feel like they have no other choice. Why are they pushing for... They really don't. They don't have any other choices? Tell me more.
Well, I think that, it's telling that you see these kinds of poll numbers that say, 70% of Democrats, 70% of Americans not wanting President Biden to run again, enormous numbers of Democrats included in that number. And I think that's one of the reasons why you're going to see someone like, RFK Jr. actually overperform in terms of the poll data. People understand this guy just can't do this job anymore. They don't have confidence in him. And even though they put Kamala Harris in that opening ad, 12 or 13 times in terms of the imagery, that's not going to convince anybody that she's actually ready for the job, should Joe Biden not be able to finish out.
I think you're right. Hey, Ben Domenech, you're all right. Thanks for joining us, Ben. I know we'll see you again soon. Thanks a lot.
Great to be with you.